Alright, guys. I know this is not my usual content, but chill out. So, Fallout 4. Overrated. Good, but overrated. The reason why I'm making this video when I do not normally make game reviews is because I haven't seen a review I agree with, and I felt, why not just throw my voice out there? There are a lot of gaming publications that are giving this game a 5 out of 5, a 10 out of 10, or a 9 out of 10. Those gaming publications are bullshit. You'll even see in their own reviews, they will address every one of the very serious issues with this game and then just give it a hugely glowing score when you take something that isn't such a big, popular, beloved franchise with the exact same issues, and they will take a firing meteoric shit on that game. I play on console, so go ahead and just hit the dislike button for that right now, but at least it's the PS4. This game has crashed 3 times. I've never had any of the other games I own on this console crash. I've heard that it crashes on everybody's thing, but it hasn't been a big issue. I've had my character stuck in what is apparently an actual physical movement animation for accessing a terminal, and just sit there going for 10 minutes. And then, actually, I just sat there watching it, and I just left it, and I just started typing away on my phone, because I wanted to see if he'd actually access the terminal, or if it was just a complete game-breaking bug. I was curious. No. 10 minutes, 21 seconds, access the terminal. Swear to God. I've had my character fall through the level and kind of like teleport back into the beginning of a cell. I've had my Pip-Boy refuse to close. It's not a freeze. I can go back and forth, access things, equip, unequip things, but I hit O. Doesn't close. It's a game-breaking bug. This is actually one of the least buggy Fallout games that I've ever played, but it's still kind of bad. This is shit that should have got caught in quality testing. Should have at least had a day 1 patch for this shit. The next thing I want to throw a fit about is this game is streamlined. Baby fucking game. Jesus Christ, baby's first RPG. Look, Fallout has always been absurdly easy from Fallout 3 on. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, and Fallout 4 are extremely easy games. I'm going to puff my chest out here and just be a dude bro for a second. If you play this on less than very hard, you're a wuss. There's no penalty for dying. You can save whenever you want. This game auto-saves if you so much as sneeze. So just play on a harder difficulty. Do you really want to one-shot everything in a game where ammo is so fucking plentiful? The next thing is, among the skill tree, there's actually no skills. It's all perk-based, which I thought was kind of neat at first until I got much further into the game. By the way, I have over 100 hours in the game. This is not a quick review. The game's obviously been out for a while. A lot of the skills are useless. Most of the charisma skills have no point. Shit like Femme Fatale or Lady Killer, I never saw a point in the game where I thought I was using that. Part of that issue is because the dialogue tree is a Mass Effect wannabe super streamlined style tree. A lot of times, because you get roughly 3 words to tell what your fully voice-acted character is going to say, I didn't really know what I was going to say, and I oftentimes said something that I had no intention of saying because I had no idea what the fuck these options mean. Very, very, very few times can you affect any meaningful change by using dialogue or charisma to force a dialogue type thing. This is something you could do pretty awesomely in New Vegas, like, spoiler alert, getting Ulysses to not fight you and be on your side and shit like that. I haven't encountered anything where I could do anything like that in this game. A couple of times I could either avoid combat or ask for more caps for doing a side quest. That's about it. A lot of the charisma tree is tied around getting your companion stronger, or having your companion being unable to hurt you. The only reason why that would be of any value is if you are stupid enough to equip your retard-ass companion with grenades, which he will hit you in the back of the head with constantly, if you're stupid enough to do that. So maybe you want the one perk in the charisma tree that does that. Another charisma perk is setting up supply lines, which is just basically if you are too fucking lazy to carry supplies between settlements, you can have the settlements automatically have those supplies. Whoop-de-fucking-do. So many of these skills across the entire perk tree are based around raw convenience. Like so much of the strength tree is based around being able to carry more shit. When you can already carry a stupefying amount of shit, even if you were like me and had your first playthrough with a character with only 3 fucking strength. And you can carry very easily, especially if you pocket your armor, you can carry upwards of 260 pounds, which is fucking damn close to the max encumbrance in New Vegas. This is very easy. We don't need these fucking perks. Other strength shit is based around, would you like to punch shit with your hands, punch shit with a weapon, or punch shit with the butt of your gun? It's the same fucking thing. I don't see the point of it. If you're going to be a melee character, why would you focus on bashing? That's pointless. A lot of the endurance tree is stupid in a game with a fucking unholy wealth of stim packs. Why would I care about being able to eat people? In a game where even though they finally made radiation actually fucking mean something and that it can limit your maximum health, it is still not very hard to get rid of, and I don't fucking need all these perks related to radiation resistance. It's fucking pointless. It's useless. The only perks that are, perk trees that are worth a damn is luck is pretty fucking OP, and perception is pretty fucking OP, and unless you're specifically trying a melee build, you do not need shit else. And if you want to be kind of run and gun guy and you don't want to use VATS very much, you need fucking nothing but agility and luck. I maxed out all of the crafting related perks which are spread out enough. This is the only kind of thing that I ever felt like I might have had to make a little bit of a choice, is that some of the crafting trees were spread between intelligence and strength, but they are so low to get. In order to fully max out your armor, you only need 3 strength, and to fully max out your guns, you only need, I think, 4 intelligence and 3 agility. Like, the game seems to have been designed poorly, where they give you fuck all for special, but you gain special like you gain a perk, and you gain a perk per level. And by the way, you can level indefinitely. I think due to coding limitations, max level was what, 1656, or was it 16,000? This destroys replayability, just annihilates it outright. You can max out everything. And by the way, there's virtually no point in putting points into any of those special slots to begin with. You're going to find bobbleheads that will give you 1 point to everything anyways. There are several equipment and clothing items that can drastically change how much stats you have. You want to be a melee build and put fuck all points into strength? Just get some power armor, which can provide a retarded boost to your strength and a massive boost to your carry weight, your encumbrance, meaning that you can feel free to dump into other shit and use power armor. Now, you may have been led to believe that since power armor is, first of all, the only kind of gear that you ever need to repair, nothing else needs to be repaired, which I kind of like because that can be annoying unless you rush right to the MacGyver perk in the other fucking games. But power armor maintenance might sound like kind of a pain. Well, no. And then you hear, oh, well, power armors run on fusion cores. Surely those would limit the amount you use them. They're fucking everywhere. I've used power armor so extensively, and I'm carrying over 40 fusion cores, and without any perks related to fusion core consumption, they last for 20 minutes apiece. And if you're worried about draining it when you're doing random shit or looting an area you cleared, get out of the armor, get back in. So, if you want to have the game be ridiculously easy and be fucking goddamn invincible, just wear your power armor everywhere you go. You might have to spend just a little bit amount of time stacking up some fusion cores. They're very easy to find. And then pow, game's broken. Same as all the other games. If you can pause, you're not going to die. There's one thing I appreciate is they've eliminated the one thing that has always pissed me off about this franchise. If you're not stunned, if you're not reloading, if you're not in an animation, if you're not knocked prone, you can pause and you can use an unlimited amount of stim packs and chems to heal the shit out of yourself. Meaning that you just can't die unless your reaction time is just that shit, or you got pounded by a death claw. By the way, death claws in this game are far less threatening. Death claws used to be very quiet, sneaky, 10-foot tall killing machines who, if you're playing on any difficulty level above fucking baby's first RPG, they're gonna one-hit kill you even if you're level 50 in New Vegas. In this game, they do have an attack that can one-hit kill you, and if you're worth a damn at the game, they're not gonna hit you with it. They're not quiet, they're twice as big, they're very clumsy. They do this animation that they can kind of dodge real-time fire. They're huge and easy targets and VATs. They take way less abuse than they used to, and you can dodge the shit out of them. They're clumsy and slow. And if you're in power armor, by the way, they do extremely little damage with their instant kill attack, and of course, don't instantly kill you. So power armor immediately makes them very non-threatening. I did really enjoy, by the way, the one thing that makes loot feel good, because the crafting system's overrated. There's some neat things you can do with armor, like make you a sneaking god if you muffle it and shadow it and stay in the shadows. You dump into the sneak tree, which is again extremely low in the agility tree. All skills you're going to give a fuck about are within the first 3 tiers. Most of the low tier skills, in all of them, even in the overpowered luck tier and in the overpowered agility tier, the highest level shit is pointless. It has to do with, make this highly abusable VATS feature even more abusable, or I got the max level luck skill, which is ricochet, to the tune of about 25 hours. The ricochet maxed out has happened 7 times. That's not very useful to me. It's hilarious when it happens, essentially making an enemy critically fail and kill themselves, but there's no use to it. 7 times in 20 hours. Fuck off. One thing I really want to get into, and I should have got into earlier, your companions are useless. They can't hit the broadside of the barn. They fucking just dump ammo into enemies that they can't possibly hit. And you can't have a melee ally. I used to love handing super sledges to super mutants or freakishly, like spiked metal armor equipped allies in New Vegas and in Fallout 3. In this game, there's so much clutter on the ground that the AI simply cannot path around to save their fucking life. I've physically pushed allies into areas where there's a safe, because I tell them, pick the safe. Because what's great is there is a companion who's a master level lockpicker, meaning if you get her, you'll never ever need to put a single point into the lockpicking tree. And I've had to push her towards a safe, physically push her because she can't get there on her own. There's a clear path, but she doesn't know how to get to it because there's narrow and there's a couple boxes between her and it, and she can't fucking go around. They were able to get this fucking fixed in both Fallout 3 and in New Vegas, and now it doesn't fucking work. This is another step backward, like the dialogue tree. I don't give a fuck about graphics. There's a lot of douches who just make me sad. Gamers who make me sad. All they say, the graphics are bad. The graphics are bad. The graphics are fine. They're better than what they probably could have ever done with the engine on the previous console. They don't look gorgeous, but they look perfectly serviceable. This game looks pretty much like Dragon Age Inquisition, which I thought was a pretty good looking game. Games a little bit in the future, and basically your Call of Duties, your shooters and shit, are always going to look better than this game. I don't care as long as the gameplay is there. Where this game does shine is the gameplay. I like that they've actually given you a chance to die. I've actually died in this game, which I almost never do playing on hardcore very hard on fucking New Vegas, because the stim packs don't heal you instantly. The enemies, although their pathing AI is shit and they don't hide very well behind cover, they hit you an awful lot. They're not very inaccurate. They'll shoot you from down fucking town in ways you might think is unfair. And unlike previous games, you will see as you level enemies equipped with quite powerful customized armors, and I've literally been killed by a raider in fucking power armor wielding a fat man. Blew my ass to pieces, along with the super mutant behemoth corpse that I didn't even notice until I came back, intending not to die, and I go, oh, that's what all those fucking explosions were. Those weren't cars exploding in a gunfight. Those are nuclear explosions from downtown, fucking way far away from where I was, because thankfully this game actually plays out ambient shit. Actually plays it out even though it's far away, which is great. What was happening, unbeknownst to me, was a power armor raider on a roof blowing the fuck out of a super mutant behemoth with a fat man. You'd never see that in the previous games. But the enemies aren't very good at doing anything other than getting at you in a straight-out gunfight. What's a couple more negative things before I get into the positive things? I really did not like the story to this game. I'm not going to give you any spoilers. I didn't like I liked a couple of the twists. There was some, what's a twist, M. Night Shyamalan-esque twists in the main storyline. The ending I really, really disliked. I've only gotten all the way through to the end playing with the Brotherhood of Steel. I'm unfamiliar what the other endings are. But I really did not like that ending. And I've heard that all the endings are disappointing. I really didn't feel like I had a choice other than which faction I wanted to throw in behind. And I gotta say that according to my playstyle and my character personality, I hated them all. I thought the Brotherhood of Steel was hyper-aggressive and really not intelligent, and they seem to be just based on fucking, fuck all technology except for when we have it. They're assholes, but they've always been that way. I think the Railroad's a bunch of cunts who are helping the other group, the Institute, who I think is a bunch of cunts. Which, if you're like me and you're playing with the Brotherhood of Steel and you encounter some of these twists and you realize the extent to which these people are cunts, you feel like everything you did in the game and everything you were led to believe is not only a lie, but that you had been led to believe you were doing something that you weren't doing, and you were trying to do something for somebody who turned out to be a total bastard when you thought they were like something really important to you, I didn't really find anybody but Nick Valentine, old Mercer Frey, back again. I forget what that voice actor's name is. I thought Nick Valentine was great. I thought every other companion was fucking obnoxious. I tolerated fucking Kate because she can pick master locks. I haven't played with everybody. I don't care for the dogs. I did like that there was more armor for the dogs. The gun customization, by the way, if I want to get a little bit real quick into the customization, the armor customization is alright. It's hard to feel justified playing around with all these armors, and you don't have to put into any special stats, because I found a suit of clothing that gave me +5 to charisma, meaning that I was walking around with overclocked 11 charisma when I really only had 6. What the fuck? There's several kind of the legendary loot drops you can get that'll give you +1 to 2 different stats, meaning you really don't need to stack into the stats at all. And power armor takes care of fucking everything. Your aim and VATS may suck if you're not a high perception character, but that's about the only fucking drawback, period. I felt that a lot of the melee weapons were very samey, even when you modified them. The gun customization was total shit. A lot of the shit was like, gets rid of recoil, hipfire. Who the fuck hipfires? There's full-blown, very effective iron sights, and there's pretty nice sights you can put on these guns. Who the fuck hipfires in this game? And 80% of all shit is reduce recoil, and I'm like, don't give a fuck. Basically, it's like, which, like, pretty looking thing would you like to put on this gun that makes it heavy as fuck? When you're looking at a gun and it's telling you this pistol weighs 10 pounds, I'm like, you've never held a real gun in your life, have you, Bethesda developers? 10 pounds, you say. A handgun. Okay. One thing that's kind of, I did appreciate about this game is a lot of the guns will carry through into late gameplay. Your 10mm pistol will not be immediately useless. You can make it a monster, and the 44 revolver continues to be the finger of God in this game. And if you're like me and happen to find a legendary item that's basically the first strike Gauss cannon that does double damage on first hit, drop everything. You are now going to one-hit kill, even if fucking enemies can see you. And if you're sneaking attacking them with no sneak attack perks, they're fucking dead. Dead as a fucking doornail. A lot of those drops were pretty fucking stupid. There was actually enough variety among them that it wasn't a good thing. That you will see like a mod on a gun and go, oh, I want this. I hope I get this on a different gun, and you'll never see that shit again. I've never seen another explosive round gun since the first one I got ever again. The fire ones are useless. The radiation ones are retarded. There's so many enemies that heal from radiation that fuck that. So like you sell all your gamma rounds because the gamma gun is garbage. Except for when people shoot your ass with it. Slight spoilers, don't fuck with the children of Adam. They will fuck with you. Be divided. Anyway, positive things. I like the gameplay. I like that there were certain things that held your hand less, even as all the base RPG structure is streamlined to the point of being extremely insulting. The VATS no longer completely stops time, which can be kind of hectic when you're trying to VATS target a Deathclaw in your face. Let's see what else. Oh yes, stim packs do not heal instantly. So you may get caught fucking getting killed, because you may have to dump a shit ton of stim packs to do your absolute best to counteract the fact that you were surrounded by enemies, because thankfully enemies are much more numerous now. In terms of in single areas, you can encounter a lot more guys at once shooting at you at once. They can fuck you up, even if you're, well, not in power armor, you're just invincible. Other good things, I like the environments. I like that there's weather. I actually like that there's shit on the ground, even though it makes companions useless, because even though I know you all want to suck Obsidian's dick and say that Fallout New Vegas is the best thing ever, let's admit that that's not just an ugly game because the graphics are shit. I don't really care about graphics. And it's an ugly game because the environments are barren and sparse and there's fucking nothing going on there. It looks like Ghost Recon from fucking early PS2 days. It's hideous. And hideous for the wrong reasons. In that it's not much going on there. Alright, so good things about the game is the trash items that used to be like, what the fuck in New Vegas? The coffee cups, the pencils, like, what the fuck is this shit? All that shit matters. Pro tip, duct tape, Wonder Glue. Doesn't even matter if you're not planning on crafting. Collect it anyways. Adhesive is life. You need adhesive, and brother, if you're taking my advice about power armor, you will collect steel and aluminum out the ass. Because you're going to need fuck tons of that shit to upgrade, and then fuck more tons to repair. Enemy variety is awesome. Stingwings flying at the freaking speed of light around my face and poisoning the shit out of me. They're not as scary as Cazadors, but they'll freak you the fuck out. Feral ghouls are actually the smartest enemies in the game, and if you're encountering shit more like glowing ones, and there's an actual huge variety of gangrenous and withered and ghouls that will not only irradiate you, but poison you. These fuckers are like rage zombies from 28 Days Later. They're gonna sprint at you. And they're gonna fucking throw themselves at you. And you're gonna miss because they're all like fucking drunken master fucking Jackie Chan. And they'll hurl themselves to the ground at your feet. Which if you can tank the hit because they're diving like bitch slap attack, will leave them lying right at your feet. Or you just VATS target them, and then because unless you dumped into perception, you have no chance to hit hardly anything but their torso, which results in a lot of very boring kill animations. I've noticed that even if I'm shooting nothing but the guy's arm to kill him, his arm doesn't fly off. You're not really going to see many kill animations other than a guy's head popping off unless you dumped into Bloody Mess in the luck tree. Meaning that the kill animations and the gore effects and graphics in this game look far, far, far worse. Whole lot more primitive and a lot less going on with physics than New fucking Vegas. And you can, like, tell where fucking individual body parts are, like, connected in terms of polygons. Like, the round, scooped-in bowl of the guy's neck where his head swivel goes. Like, fuck off. That needed to be polished and finished. So that will take you out of the game. And VATS, extremely abusable. I have a 24-shot... like dick clip out like freaking Mandingo 10mm revolver that carries 24 rounds, and I can fire 20 of them in a single VATS run. Just whoosh. Oh my gosh. So you and the game actually kind of allows enemies to hit you a little bit more when you're in VATS. So I've literally sat there for 35 fucking seconds in a VATS animation, just trading with the guy and reloading and whatnot. And that can get really tedious. Thank God, though, this is a huge boon to the players, but again, takes away from the difficulty. You can cancel your VATS attack in mid-attack. Just hit circle if the guy moved behind a pillar amongst the animation, which moves on quite a bit more than it did in previous games. And also, as I previously mentioned, enemies will still be moving at, I think, about 20% speed, maybe 10% speed while you're targeting them, which is much more fair. I really like the verticality of a lot of levels, being able to climb on rooftops and jump off of shit. And it can get kind of hilarious, almost Crackdown style gameplay when you're in power armor with a jetpack and just boost between rooftops. It's pretty intense. I really liked the radiation storms, the glowing sea, the area, the environment of the Commonwealth Wasteland feels much more threatening. There's a hell of a lot more ambient enemies. A fucking 100 times more than in previous games, who will get into ambient combat with each other. I have been in a firefight between a Deathclaw, a group of no less than 5 gunners, a group of no less than 3 super mutants, 4 if you count their dog. There's super mutant dogs now. So I had a Deathclaw, gunners, a Stingwing, super mutants, and the Brotherhood of Steel all shooting at each other in one glorious motherfucking firefight. And believe me, shit got serious when the brand new enemy, the Super Mutant Suicider, appears and literally runs up and punches a Brotherhood of Steel paladin with a mini nuke that he's holding in his hand, which proceeds to kill them both in a spray of violent gore and a huge mushroom cloud. These parts of the game is where it really, really, really shines. Loot matters. Shit's well hidden. I've gone through areas before, having to run back through an area I just cleared and noticed all sorts of containers and valuable items that I had not noticed. And I consider myself a somewhat meticulous loot whore. So that's pretty fucking awesome. I really think the environments are extremely diverse, from high-rise towers, rooftops with platforms in between them, subway tunnels, swamped out towns that are completely covered in irradiated water that's filled with fucking zombies. A huge corner of the wasteland that's covered with a permanent, just an absolute fucking permanent radiation storm, and looks like someone puked a real Cosby sweater fucking Fruity Pebbles mess across all of it. Shit's like sunken into the ground and burned, and it's just fucking covered in Alpha Death claws. That I really liked. Looking through bunkers, looking for absolutely precious mini nukes. And finding really rare kind of ammo and power armor suits. You know, getting your hands on that Fallout 2 Enclave style XO1 armor is a real treat. You know, the kind of ways you can equip that armor, especially for a melee character, are nuts. The amount of damage you can do in the abilities you can get, like regenerate action points while being shot, or regenerate health in sunlight, or whenever enemies come near you, electrocute them with the what do you call it, the Tesla enhancement. Sorry for stuttering there. Which, by the way, does not a not very consequential amount of damage. It could be the difference between finishing a guy in a VAT strike or not. But otherwise, stick with the jetpack or with the extensive armoring. I like that there's two kinds of damage resistance now. There's three. There's physical, which matters the most. There's not a lot of energy weapon wielding enemies, although they do exist around. And energy, or ballistic, which is what you're going to care about most, and radiation resistance. As per usual, although thankfully less than in previous games, you will worry about stim packs, rataways, and ammo and whatnot less and less. The game does improve itself in difficulty by stim packs being expensive, rataways costing an arm and a leg, chems being extremely expensive. But you will find yourself not needing these things, rendering all radiation and health related perks completely moot. Food is very easy to make. There's crafting stations everywhere. Kill a deathclaw, make steaks out of them. You're good to go. The last thing I want to mention is you're gonna run into some neat, unique moments. That's the one thing I really like about this game, is due to the rare spawns, the legendary enemies who always carry at least some piece of loot that's unique. You're gonna, because of those enemies, encounter some interesting situations. I encountered a super mutant in a gun nest who was wielding one of the most OP weapons I've ever fucking laid eyes on. Brotherhood of Steel is moving into the area. There's guys armed with Gatling lasers and laser shotguns, everything you can dream of. And it's one legendary super mutant, but he's got this gun that is a minigun, and the effect on it is it staggers on hit. It has a chance to basically stun lock you. And this super mutant alone wiped out a Vertibird, 6 Brotherhood of Steel guys, and nearly killed me 3 times, because I'd pop out of cover trying to snipe this motherfucker, and he would knock me into a stagger loop, and I'm like going like, holy shit, like I'm having a seizure, just desperately trying to move slightly to the left to get behind a car. Shit like that's amazing. So what do I say in summary about this game, since this review is interminably long, and bless you if you fucking watch the whole thing? This game is unlike any other Fallout 4. I consider it harder, a little bit more in line with a gamer who wants a challenge out of a game that really isn't challenging. There will at least be a few moments where you feel like you might be in a sense of desperation. Otherwise, this is more about exploration. This is about spelunking. This is about uncovering the truth about what happened to this area, finding out who these factions are and what they want and what you can get out of them, locating cool loot, hunting down those rare spawns. You can really feel free to dick around, although I strongly encourage you to look up where stores are. If you're like me and avoided going to Diamond City and didn't build your own stores in a Sanctuary, and I didn't talk about the fucking building mechanic because it's pointless, it's neat, you can build some cool stuff if you give a shit, it's kind of tedious if you don't, and there's a few times where you're forced to use it. But you don't have to, and that's, I think, sort of a cop-out, but at the same time really appreciable in the end, because I don't like it, and a lot of people do. Those things, if you don't find out where a store is, you're going to be running out of stim packs and rataways like I did. I didn't encounter the store that should have been right immediately in my path coming out of Sanctuary. And I didn't go to fucking Diamond City until like level 25. And I went a long time in the game with access to only one really shitty store and depending on my own loot ingenuity. But I got through it with no issues and without dying. I think the graphics actually look kind of cool. I like the weather effects. The environments are amazing and varied. The enemies are at least a little more competent in some cases and a lot less competent in others. The companions at least have some unique quests and some unique abilities that will make them useful even if they're no fucking use in a firefight. Some of the characters are pretty fascinating. A lot of them are bland, like for instance, Elder Maxon or Markson. I can't even remember his name because of how fucking pointless this hipster faggot was. He seriously looks like Gavin McGinnis. And I liked hanging out with the Brotherhood of Steel. I didn't see any point to hanging out with anybody else. It is really neat finding some of the rare shit, like finding the store that runs all power armor type shit. If you don't look up this game, you're going to be surprised at what you can find in corners. The exploration is really what makes me give this game a positive review, but I gotta say in summary that I think this game is a huge step backwards for the series. It's a slap in the face to anybody who wants to feel like they made a unique character and not just a jack of all trades ubermensch like right out of fucking Skyrim. This game is really, really, really streamlined. Like, as a guy who played Morrowind and Oblivion, and as much as I loved Skyrim, just could not forgive how fucking streamlined it was. Fallout 4 makes Oblivion look like goddamn Daggerfall. Makes it look like a fucking MS-DOS RPG. Like, it is baby's first RPG. Like, this is a shooter. The RPG element is kind of gone, which is really unfortunate. There's not as many bugs. The bugs that exist are really bad. The story is never really interested me that much in Fallout 3, New Vegas, or this game. And this game probably has an even more disappointing story than any of the others. But yet it still had enough twists and turns to keep me engaged and keep me wondering what's going on. Who is the Institute? Where is Sean? You know, what is Sean? You know, after a couple of twists that and fake outs that they throw at you. I did not like the beginning of the game. I did not like the end of the game. But I had fun every step of the way, for all its flaws. Did this game really arrest me, really wow me in any way? No, it didn't. There's a lot of games that got average scores that impressed me way more than this game. There's a lot of aspects in a lot of other games not related to this game that just did way more for me, and I was way more willing to forgive the flaws of those games than this one. I think this game is better than both New Vegas and Fallout 3. I had a lot of fun playing it, but I'm going to give it a 7.75 out of 10. This game has had a lot of step backwards, and a lot of stagnation, and a refusal to advance and to innovate. It uses a fucking dog-tired, ancient, decrepit, old-ass game engine that holds it back in gameplay, which somehow struggles and mostly succeeds to be fun. I have disagreed with fucking almost every review. All the people who are like, graphics sucks, I'd rather play Black Ops 3. Fuck those guys. All the major media outlets, it sucked its dick and was willing to admit where it had flaws and that where everybody's paying attention, the final score, they say 9.5, 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 5.5. Fuck those guys, they're wrong. And the reason why they're saying that is because they had so much fun and they think the only score they can give to a fun game is a 9 or higher. And that's a major fucking flaw in the way that they do things. I love this game. 7.75 out of 10. That's less than a 4 out of 5. That's like a 3.8 out of 5, ladies and gentlemen. That may offend you because you also had fun with this game. But guess what? This game is far from perfect. Hell, this game is kind of only barely good, but it has all the right addictive aspects and just enough to keep you guessing, and just enough busy work that isn't all that boring and is actually interesting, that will keep you sitting there playing 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, 5 more minutes. And that's the real grab factor of this game. It doesn't make you regret that bitch work. Thanks for watching, everybody.